Your Country 1039 KGRT, the latest from Luke Bryan and Country On.
Time now for the question of the day.
Yep, it is time for our question of the day. And our question of the day basically has to do with the fact that, hey, the NFL season officially started last night. And, for those that are interested, of course, making sure their fantasy football leagues were all in place for last night's game. I made sure mine were in place, and quite honestly, wide receiver got me all the points, and my running back didn't do much of anything last night. But that's what happens when, they're kind of on the same team. One or the other might do well. But I am in the lead in my fantasy football team, so here's the smack talk, for my opponent. I will win, and you will feel bad. Thank you. I'm really good at smack talking. But, of course, the new NFL season has started, and lots of people getting their fantasy football teams ready, perhaps wasting a little time at work, making sure that they're all set. But that is basically our question of the day. Are you a fantasy football person, or is it a waste of time? I actually enjoy it. I feel like it's a lot of fun. And quite honestly, I'm a 49ers fan, so there were quite a few years in there where the 49ers weren't doing all that great. But fantasy football at least kept me engaged watching some of the games and, kept me in that football type of mood when my team wasn't doing too well. So, yeah, I enjoy fantasy football, and I'm going to have a lot of fun this year in the league that we're doing, and especially that punishment. If you haven't heard, my fantasy league has a punishment where the loser has to take the SATs with the high school students, and the score of their SAT is going to be on the trophy, last place trophy right there. So I'm going to try to avoid that one, but it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. So my personal opinion, fantasy football is fun, keeps you interested in all of the games. Not a waste of time, I don't think, because everybody, I think, has a little bit of fun with that. But that's just my opinion. What is yours? Are you a fantasy football person, or is it a waste of time? Go ahead and let me know on our Zia Comics hotline. Give me a call. Our Zia Comics text line is open. 575-523-KGRT is the number for both of those. That's 575-523-5478. Of course, our comments are open on our social media pages, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So go ahead and let me know your opinion on our question of the day. And that is, of course, are you a fantasy football person, or do you think it's just a waste of time? Okay, that's good. And this is good right here. So we are just now exclusively up on our social media pages. And yeah, fantasy football, I played in a league for years with some friends of mine, coworkers that I had when I was working at Sears, and we had a blast with that one. Never won. Never did get one. They did get pretty far in the finals once, or into the playoffs once. But for the most part, no, it was kind of sitting around at the bottom or near the bottom of the pack for the most part, which is why I'm a little bit worried about this new league and the punishment with that one. I'm a little bit worried, but I have faith there's at least one or two other players that might do a little bit worse than I do. But fantasy football, like I said, when your team is not doing well, it keeps you interested in the games, keeps you, following up on a lot of the players and everything else, which is something I have to get used to because I haven't done it in a few years. So getting back into it, we'll see exactly how this year goes. But I like a little fantasy football time. I know some bosses don't like fantasy football time because there's a lot of people that will take that time at work to check out the teams, check out the waiver wire, the whole thing like that. And so maybe waste a little time at work. But what are you going to do when my fantasy football league is actually kind of part of work this time? So, maybe it's okay if I take a look at it once in a while. But what is your opinion on the whole fantasy football thing? Are you into it? Do you enjoy it? Are you part of any leagues? Or do you think it's just kind of like a waste of time, another time killer, like a lot of social media stuff is really just a lot of time killers? Go ahead and let me know. Once again, you can give your answers to our question of the day on our Zia Comics hotline and text line, 575-523-KGRT, or just leave your comments on our social media pages. So go ahead and let me know what you think about fantasy football. In the meantime, let's take a look at some of the stuff going on and around the world. Kevin Bacon apparently should replace Freddy Krueger if A Nightmare on Elm Street gets rebooted. At least that's what the original Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund, says. Kevin told Screen Rant that he is open to the idea. Never say never. You never know. Also, I see that Burger King is testing a new everything seasoning bun. The bun is being tested at locations in Alabama and New Mexico, but What exactly is an everything seasoning bun? Not quite sure what that is. Also, Uber Eats has purchased autonomous vehicles for a company or from a company called Nuro. The vehicles pick up the food from the restaurants before delivering it to the customers. Customers will receive a notification when the vehicle arrives and will be given a code to unlock the vehicle so that they can retrieve their food. Interesting. Do I have to tip the vehicle? I mean, I'm just curious. Also, I saw Brazil has banned Apple from selling iPhones in their country until they put chargers back in the box. A couple of years ago, Apple took the chargers out of the box. Not a lot of people are happy about that. So Brazil, as a country, is actually doing something about that. And there's a lot of people in Brazil. I wonder if Apple will take note of that one. So, yeah, that's a few of the things going on in the world today. And once again, we are looking for your answers on our question of the day, which is essentially, are you a fantasy football person, or do you think it's just a waste of time? Go ahead and leave your answers in our comments section. And, of course, you can always just give me a call on the Zia Comics hotline or the Zia Comics text line, 575-523-KGRT. But that is our question of the day. Fantasy football. Are you into it, or is it just a big waste of time?